We're going to continue with our application. We're going to create post and we're going to display our post. But before we get into all of that, there are a couple of things I would like to fix. So first I'm going to try to log in. Let me use the username instead of email now. Then if I do join user, so I'm getting please include an heart in the email address. John Doe is missing. Okay, so this is our HTML validation running. If we go back here, you realize we're using this required validation that is native to our HTML here. And then we set the type of the input to email. So obviously it's expecting the heart symbol there. So, but then in our script, we query our database for username and email, which gives us more flexibility to choose between username and email for logging in. So, but then we couldn't bypass this. So what we need to do in order to be able to log in with our username or email is to change this to text. So when we do that, hopefully we should be able to log in with our username. So I'm going to refresh this page and then I'm going to do John Doe, which is our username. Then I'm going to do John user, which is our password. And then sure enough, I'm logged in. I also have to take care of this. This should be a button, not just an ordinary link like the rest. So here, inside our index.php, we had this conditional rendering, and then for logout, we had this class btn red. So I'm going to get this class identifier, and then I'm going to style it. So let's go to style.css. And then let's look for nav links. Okay, so this is nav links. So I'm gonna do nav links, then btn red. I'm gonna set the background color to this variant of red, CE5643. The color is already white, but then we can't be too careful. And then padding, let's do 8 pixel top and bottom, and then 15 pixel left and right, and then we can do a border radius of 5 pixel. Okay, yeah, I should do. So I'll save this and then go back to a browser and refresh. Okay, maybe I need to use shift to do that. Okay, now we have our logout button working. So I'm going to log out. Okay, so now we have this login button. Now all of these posts have been hard coded at the minute. These post images, they're not displaying because I'm getting them from the internet, and I don't think I'm connected to the internet at the minute. So, but then this is from my file system in relation to my project folder. So the first thing we're going to try to do is we're going to try to create the post table, because we need a post table to populate our post. So we have this markdown.sql. So let's just copy the SQL query for creating our table. So I'm going to get this create table post, and then I'm going to go to PHP my admin. So this is PHP my admin. I have to ensure I'm inside our database. So this is the database we're using for this demonstration. So I'm going to open this up. Okay. Already we have this users table we have one user registered. We're going to register more users eventually, but then let's try to create this post table. So I'm going to paste our SQL query here. Okay. Something is wrong here. Let's see what is wrong. Okay. Okay. So all of these comments, I just added them there, for so that you guys can understand what we're trying to do better. I don't know, should I delete them or should I leave them? Okay, in any case, we have a post ID. Let's see whether this will work first. We can always go back to the structure inside our table. So I'm going to click go. Okay, so this works. This is our post table now. This is our structure. So we have post ID, which is set to auto increment. It's also our primary ID. We have the title. We have the cover photo. Something else I might have. I'm coming. Structure. We don't have it. I'm coming. Here. All right. I think we're good. So we have a title, cover photo, author name. That is the name of the author who wrote the post. The post content, the type is text. Publish date, last updated tags is published and is featured. So these are all the columns that we're going to fill eventually. And then some of these, this one has default null, so our tags column can be null if we like. Okay, so what's the next thing? The next thing is to populate our post table with some dummy data. I'm going to take this away. I think in the past I've run into some kind of issues relating to absolute parts. So I'm going to remove this backslash. This is the path to my image in my folder, in my project folder. Okay, so I think that should do. So I'm going to copy all of this. So it's saying insert into post. All of these columns, title, cover photo, author name, content tags is published. And then the values are all of these dummy details. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. Copy. Okay, I need to save first because I made some adjustments. Then I'm going to copy. Okay, so copy, and then I'm going to come here, SQL, and then I'm going to paste here. So I think in total we have like 10 posts or so. We're going to see that in a minute. So I'm going to click on go. If this works, okay, so now we have an issue. It says inside in the post, blah, blah, blah. Column count doesn't match value count at row 1. Okay, so let me go back there and let's see what's the issue there. We have this is the title, this is the cover photo, this is the author name, this is our content. I hope I didn't forget comma here. Okay, so I have comma there. And then we have machine learning, neural net, LLM, like this. And then we have true, false. So this is tagged. It's published. True. Okay, I think this is the issue. This other one. What do we have there inside our post? Okay, it's featured. So we have is featured. I'm sorry, I should have included that. So is featured. Okay, so is featured is going to be for this one. So this is false. Do we have any is featured post yet? True. I'm going to set this to false. False. And then I'm going to set the first one to true. So this is going to be our featured post from this perspective. So I'm going to save, and then I'm going to copy. Ctrl C, and then let's go back to SQL query, and then I'm going to paste this here. And then fingers crossed, let's see whether this works. Okay, so this works. So our post table now has all of these posts. I think there are 7. Okay, now we go back to our application. Obviously, we cannot display the post yet. So what we need to do is we need to implement the script for displaying our post. We're doing inline, so let's go to index.php and then let's see what we can do here. First, we're going to write the script for our featured post, because when you look at our design here, what is it? When you look at our design, you realize that here we have the featured post. So we're going to try to do this. So we're going to write, I'm going to write, okay. So since we have, what is it called? Featured post and regular post. So we're going to have 2 SQL queries like that. So the first one, we're going to have fit SQL. So I'm going to say select all from post where is featured. Remember that is featured flag is equals to 1, and then we're going to order by published date. So in the event that we have more than one featured post, so we're going to order by published date, and then we're going to do it in descending order, descending, and then we're going to set okay, limit 1 like that. Okay, now we can do featured result, fit result. We're going to now we're going to use our connection object, which is inside our config.php here. So query like that, and then here we're going to pass our featured SQL query there, and then here we can do featured, okay, fit post is a fit result, and then we're going to fetch our associative array. Remember, we're using MySQL extension to connect to our database, so all of these methods are peculiar to MySQL extension. Okay, let's have these excluded ID So here we do feed post, and let's have feed post post ID. This is from our database. We just set the ID to 0. Okay. So that's for our featured post. Let's write a query for our regular post. And then we can do regular post. Regular SQL. You have to write the SQL first. And then we can do select all from post, where post ID, we have to be careful that this all of these attributes, they correspond with the columns in our database, otherwise we're going to get an error. So let's see the structure. I think we have post ID. Okay, so we need to take cognizance of that. So post ID, it's not equals to excluded ID. We had this here. So for the excluded ID, if it's featured post, then let's fetch the post ID from database, otherwise it's just 0. So here we're writing this query says select all from post, where post ID is not equals to excluded ID. So this is going to get the rest of the post for us, those posts that are not featured. And then we're going to order by publish date. This publish date, where is it? This publish, what is it? Publish dates. Okay, it's using timestamp. So publish date, and then we're gonna do descending. So now we need to write our query. Regular post is equals to our connection objects. Then we're going to query that, and then we have to pass our regular SQL in it like that. The rest we're going to handle inside our template. Let's implement some EPA methods. Let's use this one for save display function, display save. So this takes variable, and then we can return HTML special characters, and then in here we can do text or this empty string, and then we can set some flags and quotes, and then we can do our encoding to be UTF-8 like that. So this is for displaying content from save display of content from our database. We can also have an EPA method for get review. So we can have function get review, preview, in the event that here, what is it? Here, you realize we didn't display the entire content of our post. So this is what that EPA function is going to help us achieve. So here, get preview and then we can have our content. What else? We can set the limit. Let's set the limit to 200 length, and then let's write the body of our function. Okay, so we can do content here equals display safe, the other helper function that we wrote, and then we can pass content here. Then we can do if string length of our content, string length of our content. If it's less than the limit that we set, okay, limit, what do we want to do? Then we're going to set our content substring. You know, people do say that Python comes with batteries included. For some reasons, I don't think people give that much credit to PHP, because these are all global helper functions that PHP provides for us. Imagine if we were to implement this in JavaScript. So this is content. We can set our offset to 0, and then our length to be limit. And then we can also do content substring, and then we have our content here. Offset is 0, and then our length, so it's another helper method, or is a function now in PHP. So we have let's set the haystack to be content, and the needle. All of this is just for our post preview. So the need is just that. Let me format this properly. Okay. So that's our string position. Okay. I've set our offset to be 0, and then our string to be content. Okay. So, and then we have to return content here. Return content. Okay. Now the next thing is to display our post inside our template. So we have to go to, what is it? We have to go to, we are inside index.php. So let's go to, well, we're not using it yet, so even if we do encounter error, we're not going to be able to see it because we've not really glued it to our template yet. It's just okay. What else? So this is where we have this is our hero session, and then this is our featured session. Okay, so this section, so what do? We want to display this session only. What am I saying? We want to display this section, not session, section. Excuse my English. We want to display this section only if we have featured post in our database. So we're going to write is PHP conditional rendering. So if what's that variable again? Feed post. So if we have feed post, then we're going to display this section. So I'm going to do end if here, PHP in if, like that. So this is we're only going to display this section in event that we have a featured post in our database. So how do we handle this? I remember this featured post is our featured post variable that we define here. What is it? Feed post. So it's fetching associative array from our database. Good. So here, what is it? Okay, here, for our source, remember now our photo is a cover photo. That's the column in our database. So what is it? Okay, now I have to delete this, and then I'm going to use PHP to display this cover photo. So I'm going to do echo. I'm going to do HTML special characters. This is just for safety. And then I'm going to pass the string variable here, which is featured post. And then what we have in our database, which is cover photo, like that. And it's echo. So we have to. And then here we have what? We have featured post, which is the alt attribute. Okay. Now here in our post content, remember we have a title. So we can display our post title here. So I have to remove this. And then here we can do feed post. Post. Is it post title or title? Title. Okay. So this is title. Perhaps I should use HTML special characters here. So HTML special characters. And I'm gonna paste this in here like that. Okay. What else do we have? We've done for title. I think this is published date, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, by John Doe, blah blah blah. Okay, so here we have we can have PHP. So this is the author name. So that's going to be HTML special characters, and then here we're going to have feed post author name like that, and then the published dates. That published date, we need to write a special, because if we just go in here and try to display what we have here, it's not going to take a human readable format for reading date. So we have to undo that properly, carefully. So here I'm going to remove this, and then I'm going to use a PHP data function. So here I'm going to do date. Anyway, this PHP syntax is a short form of what we're used to. Okay, so let's set the format. First thing is format. F J, and then for the year we have Y, and then after that we have timestamp. So we have string to time, And then for our stream to time, we're going to pass in our date time. So our date time is we get in our featured post variable. So that's a published date now. Published date. Okay. So if our syntax is correct, that should work. The next thing is here our preview. Remember, we're not on the home page. We're not going to be displaying all our post content. So that's the point of the get review helper function that we wrote initially. So here we can do. Let me go back to PHP echo. Echo. So what do we echo here? We can echo get preview, okay, which is our function. And now remember, our get preview function is it's taking two parameters. So it's expecting two input values here when we invoke it. So the first one is a content. So we have a feed post, and then we get the content. Okay, the content has been slashed. We don't need to pass in the second argument because we've set a default value of 200. So that should take effect. Okay, so that's our get preview. The next thing is I think we have to handle for our tags, or perhaps we should wait till. Okay, here where we have a read more, this should take us to our blog view.php. So the way we handle that is to do, this is blog view.php, then it takes a query. We set the ID to the post ID. So this is not messy. I'm not going to use the echo variant. And then here we have feed post, and then this should be post ID, like that. So if this works, we should be able to view our featured post in our browser now. So I'm going to save this, and then inside our database, let's see. I think for artificial intelligence, we have is featured is one. Okay, so that's the only featured post that we have. So let's go back to our application and let's refresh. Okay, so this is working. It's not quite. It's saying undefined constant text in. So this is index.php line 16. I think I've messed up. I've messed up my script there. So let's go back and see what I did wrong. So here in where index.php, it's in line 16. Okay, so this, sorry about that. So let's refresh. It's saying there's still an issue here. One, HTML special character such a UTF-8 is not supported. Assuming, okay, I think I blundered there. Sorry again. Here. Okay, so now we have so this is working. This image coming. What's the CSS identifier that we use for the image? Where is it? No, that's not where I'm looking at. I'm looking at the wrong section. Okay, image. Blog post featured IMG. Did I write the script for that? Sorry, did I write the style for that? Let me see. I didn't do that inside what is it called? Okay. I need to be, can I get away with what is it called? Can I get away with writing the style inline? Let's see. If I do style and then I do width, I don't know, if I do 500 pixels and then I do height, auto, what does that give us? Let's see. Is this okay? Guys, I think this looks better, or should I increase the width? 600. I think this looks nicer compared to the other one that we had. So this is working for our featured post. Its progress. So the next thing we're gonna do is before we go to the blogger view page, let's undo the rest of our regular post, all of this. So let's go back and implement that. So here we have this is where we are going to be displaying our regular post. We only need one section here because we're going to loop through what we have in our database to display this. So let's get into that. Now we have to do conditional rendering here as well. What is it? We have to write a condition such that if I'm talking too much, let me get into it. I need to delete this. I only need one, or we only need one. We're going to loop through. So when we loop through, we only need one. So inside this post grid, we're going to write a condition. Remember, in regular post variable, where is it? Here. What we're doing here is quite different from what we had here. So let's just get into it and then. So here we can do PHP. Then we can do if a regular post, if the number of rows in a regular post, num rows, if it's greater than 0, only then should we display this section. So our regular post, if the number of rows is greater than 0, that means we have regular posts in our database. Then only then should we display this section. Okay, So we have to do the associative array because, like I said, what we did here, it's not quite the same as what we did here, but that's just to give us more flexibility in displaying our regular post anyway. So that was intended. So here I'm gonna do. So I have if here. So I have to do hand if here. No, there's if I have to get to the point where else. So this is if else. I need to do else PHP. And then I do else. So in the event that we don't have any post, then we can do section. Okay. And then inside this section, okay, let's just give it this class blog post like that. And then here we can do div post content, and then here we can do p, let's call that meta class. Then we say no other post available for now. Okay, and then we can do hand if here PHP, then we can do hand if like that. Okay, so the next thing we need to fetch associative array on our regular post. So the way we do that, here before our section tag, we can do PHP, and we can do while. Then we set this row variable, row equals regular post. Then we fetch associative array, fetch assoc. Okay, so we're going to be using the row variable. So this just gives us an elegant way of looping through what we have inside our database. This fetch associative array helper method, or is the object now in PHP speak. Okay, so here I'm gonna get rid of this. We don't need this anymore, so we just need to do PHP. I'm gonna go back to the shorthand version. Then I'm gonna do HTML special characters, and then here I'm gonna do row. I think the column name is cover photo. Okay, so the hot should be regular post image, regular post image. Come on now. All right, so for our title here, I'm gonna do, this is a shorthand form. What is it called? HTML special characters. And then here I'm gonna pass gonna access the title column from our row variable like that. And then the author. Okay, so I'm gonna be a bit lazy here. I'm gonna go back up here when we had our featured post, and then I'm going to copy what we have here. Okay, here like that. I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to paste here. What is it? Here. I'm gonna paste here like that. Now instead of this featured post, we're using the row variable here. So this is row. It's a row object. Sorry, not. I think object can be variable as well. So row like that. Now we have to use our get preview EPA function here. Remember, this isn't going to contain the entire content of our post. We're just fetching some strings, and we specify that in our get preview EPA function that we wrote initially. So I'm going to go here and do PHP, and then I'm going to do echo. So what do we want to echo? So we're going to get preview. We're going to invoke our get preview function here, and then we have to pass the contents, which is okay, don't let me do it like that. Let me use HTML special characters for safety, and then here we do the row object, and then we pass in the content property like that. Okay, here we also have to handle the block view .php. If this were a large project, we can do some kind of you can write some kind of program, and we can create some kind of .htaccess file here, and then that gives us a way to elegantly undo this so that we don't have to keep repeating .php extension in a browser URL all the time, or even inside our text editor like this. But then this is just for demonstration purpose, so it gets the job done. So we set the ID here, and then the ID is going to be the ID of our post. Okay, so here we have HTML special characters, and then here we get the row object, and then we passing, I think it's post ID in there like that. Okay, I think that's all for the regular post. So this should take us to block view when we click on it. So I'm going to save, and fingers crossed, if this works, we should be able to get our regular post here. So I'm going to refresh. Okay, so now we have a syntax error, unexpected token else in so line 107. I think I've messed up the syntax there. If okay, the reason I'm getting that is because I didn't end while here. Remember, we did while this, so I have to end while, just as here when I did if conditional rendering, we did end if here after the else block. So here when we did while, we have to do end while here prior to this, because the while statement is embedded inside our if else statement. So I have to end this PHP, then this is ny like that, and hopefully this should work now. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so our what is it called? So we have the rest of our post. So I think the next thing we need to do is I'm not going to tinker with this styling. Like I said, you can improve upon the styling on your hand if you like. So this should take us to block view page, indicating the what is it called? Indicating the ID of a block. I think the CSS for this page is broken, so let me fix that. Okay, so this should be assets, CSS, then style CSS. This should be dev. Okay, so I think I need to handle that properly. So what is it? I'm going to copy this navbar here, and then I'm going to paste it. Where is it? Okay, I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to go to block view, and then I'm going to paste the navbar here, so that is the same across board. Okay, so if I save, then go back here. Okay, so we have this. Yeah, obviously all of these are not going to render properly because, well, at this point in our code, we are not displaying the individual posts. See, this post is not the post with this post ID 3. So it's just the boilerplate that we have there. So if I go, even if I click this, you see, it's still the same thing. So we have to handle that such that the post that is being displayed is, what is it called? Is the post that has the same ID. So let's go to our block view.php and then let's implement that. And then after that, I think we should implement our search functionality so that we'll be able to filter through our post. How should I handle this one? I need a minute. Okay. What I'm going to do is this. Since we've been writing the rest of our program inline, our PHP script, I mean, since we'll be writing those inline, let's use an external file here to undo this one. So we can do what is it called? Post.php. So we can just include that in our block view.php. So the way to go about this is to write a function. Okay, so let's write a function. Okay, so let's have PHP here. Okay, so let's write a function get post by ID. I'm gonna get on my cyclic object there, connection, and then our int type, which is post ID. Get post by ID or array. Okay, so let's have our SQL query here, SQL. Then we can do select all from a post where the post ID is what we query, and then we can limit by 1. Okay, and then Okay, let's initially set our post variable to null here. Then we can do try catch here. And when we come across an error, exception. So how do we want to undo this? I might not use an exception. Maybe I use throwable e, because I can throw an exception here. So maybe I do throwable here like that. Now inside our try block, let's do if statement equals to connection, our connection object. Then we prepare our SQL statement here. Then we pass in our query SQL. So if we have our statement ready, then we can bind param statement bind param. So this is my SQL. We're getting an ID, so that's integer, and then our variable is a post. This one, it's post ID like that. So we cannot execute our statement. Execute. Okay, and then we can get the result. Then result is equals statement get result. Okay, then if the number of rows from our result is greater than 0, result num rows greater than 0, then we set our post variable, which was initially set to null. We set it to our associative array result, then fetch a sock like that. Okay, let's close our statement here, but then if let's do else here. Okay, this if, then let's do our else here. Okay, let's close our statement here, close, because that's if block is done. Then for the else block, what do we want to do? We can set an error message, and then we can set it to database error, and then we can concatenate error. We get the error on our connection object, and then maybe we want to log an error. So error log, we can pass this message, my SQL prepare error. Then let's concatenate connection error like that, and then we'll return null here. Remember, we're inside a function. And then for the throwable part, we can set error message. You can say error, error fetching post, and then you can concatenate use a variable, and then use the get message object. No, not message, like that. And then we can have an error log, and then let's pass in a message, my cyclic execution error. Let's do it like this, execution error, and then we can concatenate error, then get message, okay, and then return null for this one. Recall we are inside a function, and then for the old function body we can return post. So we say return post. Okay, so having written this, what we need to do is we need to go into our block view .php, and then we can make use of this function that we have written. Now remember, it's respecting post ID, so we're going to be getting the ID from our URL, so we can use the okay, but before we get into that, let's have PHP here, and then up here okay, up here I can do include. So we have to include our config file, config.php. We also have to include what we've just written now, php post.php file here as well. Now we need to get the ID from our URL, so we can do if set underscore get, and then we pass the ID here only if we are getting the ID. So what this is saying is only if we are getting the ID from our URL should we proceed with the code inside this block. So we can do set ID variable equals to underscore get ID, like that, and then we have our post. We can set our post variable here, and then we can invoke our get post by ID, get post by ID that we wrote here, this function. So we're expecting a connection object and then the post ID. So let's go back here, and then we have access to this connection object through this include. So we just pass in here, and then our ID is going to be the ID that is returned from our URL. So fingers crossed. The next thing we're going to try to do is we're going to try to display this post. So here, this title, I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to do should I do HTML special characters, HTML special characters, and then in I'm going to do post. So that's the title. So that's the title. I'm going to get a title there. Okay. The next thing, inside here, what do we have here? Def stum. Okay. Here, I think this should be our post title. Okay, so let's display our post title here. Then we can do HTML special characters. Then we can do post, and then we pass title. So that's title. I hope I didn't make the mistake up there. Assuming it's post title. Okay, it's title. Okay. So the next thing is published by John Doe on blah blah blah. I don't think we set a category there inside our, let me see a structure. There is no category there, so this has to go. This category has to go, or can I convert that to something else? Okay, I think it has to go. So this goes. Since there's no category, there's no point converting it to anything else. So published by, okay, let's have PHP here. I think that's author name, if I'm not mistaken. So we have HTML special characters, and then we have a post, and then here we have author name, like that, and then the time, we have to display this in human readable format, so we have to be careful there. Okay, so let's do date. Let's call the date function here, but then before that, let's do PHP. So here we have date. Okay, so let's pass in the format. For the format, F, J, and then our year. Okay, and then our timestamp, string to time, like that. And then we have to pass our date time. So our date time is, I think it's published date, if I'm not mistaken. Post, published date. So if this did not exist, we can do now. Okay. Hopefully I've not blown out with my my syntax. Now the next thing is we have to display the cover photo here. So here we have HTML special characters, and then in here we can pass what is it called? Post cover photo. Okay, and then here is going to be post image, post image. Okay, what else? I think we've done for title. Now we have to display our content here. So this p tag is for our content. So let's just replace this, and then we can display it dynamically from our database. Okay, then we can do PHP echo HTML special characters, and then we pass post, and then the content of our post here. Okay, what else? Let's have our text stack here. Text stack. Okay, for our text stack, we're gonna have a UL. No, there's no need for this. This has to go. Okay, so inside our UL, let's go back to our tags here. Virtual tags, varchar 150. Okay. I'm going to try to display as if it's an array, and then let's see whether that works. If it didn't work, then I'm going to make additional tweak. So here, I have to get rid of this. I'm only going to need one li tag. Okay, so then I have PHP here. Come on now. Okay. Then we can do tags equals JSON, the code. Then we have post tags. Then we can do if an array was returned, I'm coming here in a markdown.sql. These tags. Okay, let's see. If it didn't work, then we figure out a better way to handle that. With block view, then if an array was returned, if it's array, then pass tags there. Okay, and then we can do for each dollar tags as $t here. Okay, then we can have we can echo li now. Then we can do PHP, and we can do echo t like that, and then we have to end for each PHP, and for each, and then we started with if, so we have to end if as well, and then we have to close our PHP tag. Okay. Um, what else? I think we're good as per our blog view. What is this doing here? So I have to delete this. I don't need this. We don't need this. So many of them. So we don't need that. Okay. Fingers crossed. If we didn't blunder in the course of writing this, then this should display. This should work. Hopefully. Okay. So I'm gonna go back here. Okay. And then here I'm gonna do read full post. Okay. Now it's working. Except here in our text stack, it's not working because, well, I'm coming here. What I'm about to do, I do not approve, but so that we don't have to waste each other's time repopulating what we have there again, or we should waste each other's time doing it. There's no problem. So what I'm going to try to do is here, you see tags is our tags are embedded inside an array. And if you look at this structure here, it says, what is it called? The tags is text. That's the application that I demonstrated before we got into the implementing these that we're onto right now. So our tags as type of text, and then we embedded our tags inside an array. But then in our own post table, if you look at the structure is varchar 150. And then when you look at the content of our post, if you browse, then you realize, what is it? Say, it's just empty, it's just string, like it's not embedded inside an array. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to truncate this for now so that it drops all our rows. Never do this in production. Guys, what I'm about to do, never do this in production, only in development. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to SQL. Okay, so here I'm going to do truncate. So I'm inside this. Okay, I'm inside our database. Truncate table post. So when I do this, that is going to drop all of the posts we have in our post table. So I'm going to go. So it's asking me, because this is quite a dangerous thing to do. Okay, so now our post is empty. For this script to work, well, blockview.php, this for displaying our tags, we are decoding JSON from our database, assuming that this column has a JSON type, but it didn't. It has a varchar type. So for this to work, we have to, so let's go back to markdown.sql, and this, I have to embed it inside an array. Okay, like this, like this. I'm coming. I need to be sure I got this right. Okay, so It's quite working. Yeah, I think it should be this. Okay, because it's an array of string, right? Like that. Okay. uh I also have to do the same with this one. So like that, like that. Okay, and then the next one, like that, like that, and then here. Okay, and then here, like that. Okay, so what's the next thing? This as well. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm really sorry. It's one of those things you encounter in development. So here, this has to be inside string, if I'm not mistaken. Then these as well. I think that should be the last one. Machine learning, neural nets. Okay, leave it. Neural net, LLM. Then what else do we have? Okay, I think that's all. But then before anything, I have to go back to PHP my admin, and then here inside our database, post. I have to change these tags. I have to change it to text. How do we do this? Where is it? There has to be a place where I can edit. Browse. What is it? Structure. Tags. What is the edit? Okay, change. I'm coming. Tags. Okay. Then change. Okay, so I'm going to change this to text. What is it? Text. Like that. No length. Then I'm going to save. Okay, so now our tags is of type text, which is bigger than varchar 150 length that we set before now. Okay, so let's try to repopulate our database with our dummy post for the second time, and then let's see whether we get we're able to display our tags. What do we have here? Copy, and then let's go back here, make sure we are here, and then SQL, and then we paste, and then you can click go. Okay, so now we have this back. Okay, so let's go back here. If I refresh, good, now we have it, because here where is our block view? We are decoding what we're doing JSON decode. So we're decoding what we had. We have a collection type inside our database, which is an array type. So if you look at it now, you realize now we have all of these tags in an array. So it's a collection tag. It's a collection type. So we have to decode in our code using this echo method, JSON decode, and then we pass that field here. So now we say if it's an array, if an array was returned, then we loop through and then displaying each. I don't want to finish everything here. I don't want this tutorial to get longer than it should be. Maybe we handle for our search before we close this, and then we can go into, what is it called? Did I have search dot? I didn't have search dot PHP here, which means I have to write the, what is it called? I have to write the templates from the ground up. Isn't that going to take long? Okay, so I'm going to stop this here, and then when we return, we're going to continue from where we left off. So this is working so far with what we've done. If we go back to, okay, so this should be, what is it? It's navbar. Okay, so this should be a index.php. Then I put this def stum inside this a. Def stum. In a big application, you're going to want to extract this navbar inside some kind of partial file, so that you just include it on each of your page, or in each of our pages. So here, but this is just a small application, so we can get by with this. A index.php. What else do we have? I think that's so save, or so if you go back here, okay, now it's changed. That's not what I want. H1 logo. Okay, let me do the other way around. Instead of then I can do a here, a index.php, cut and paste here. So inside block view, let's see whether we retain the CSS. We didn't retain the CSS. I don't like this. I have to handle the CSS properly. H1 logo. I was hoping it would take us back to oh, sorry, it should work. I think it should work because that was index.php. So if I refresh, then I go here. Okay, no, so that's working. We're able to retain our CSS. Let's do the same here so instead of doing this, we can do a, and then here we have a, and then href is index.php. Save, and then refresh. No, it should take us to home page. Refresh. So that's working. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop this for now, and then when we get back, we're going to continue with the rest of the application.